Hello, friends. I'm Pastor Kent, one of the pastors here at Lutheran Church of Our Redeemer, and with kind of an update of our worship schedules. This coming weekend, June 2021, we're going to be returning to the building for our 5:30 Saturday worship service, as well as our 10:30 Sunday morning worship service. Our goal, of course, in planning our return is to worship God and to grow spiritually, but do that in a safe manner. So things are going to look and feel differently because of that safety thing. So as you arrive, you'll notice that the doors will be propped open to minimize touch points. There'll be hand sanitizer available right inside the church doors, and so ask you to use that. You'll enter the sanctuary, and you won't be handed a bulletin, but they will be available in the pews. Speaking of pews, we're going to be using every other pew just to be able to keep and help people be physically distanced that way. Families can be sitting together in their pews, but we ask that family units be separated by 6 feet minimum. Also, that whole mask thing, Pastor Dan and I know that you don't all have really cool masks like we do, but we ask you to wear and strongly suggest that you wear a mask. But we're not requiring it. We're not going to kick you out if you don't. Nobody wants to be a cop, but it's really mask wearing means you're being sensitive to those around you. Another thing that we have been doing in order to be safe is our air handling system here in the sanctuary will be cooling outside fresh air. So it's not going to be recirculating our current air, but we'll be blowing in a lot of fresh outdoor air. Offering plates will be available for you as you enter and as you leave. Holy Communion will be a little awkward for those Sundays when we receive Holy Communion. You'll receive as you enter a little baggie with communion wafers there. You'll just keep that with your family, and Pastor Dan or I will do the words of institution, and we'll be receiving Holy Communion in that one form with the wafers. Singing is also a delicate kind of thing. We all love to sing. Well, at least I do, and many of us do. But it's really hard as the scientists and researchers are finding that this virus is spread more with our breath, with our aerosol, and speaking loudly, as I'm doing now, or singing projects that aerosol even further. So we will have one or two lead singers at each of the worship services, and the rest of us can stay in our pew and mumble or pray in our heart or sing in our heart that way kind of thing. As scientists and researchers have learned more about this virus, we've needed to adapt and just remember to be careful, to be faithful. We know that some of you won't feel comfortable to return to the building, and that's okay. And so we've got various options and various levels of safety for our worship opportunities. So here it is, kind of the final rundown on our weekly worship services. 5:30 Saturday service will be back here at the building. 9 a.m. Service will continue to be at Memorial Park at Lake Compesca. The 10:30 worship service will be back in our building with all those safety precautions, and then the 10:30 service will be streamed online for those of you who remain in your homes and want to worship that way. We're going to conclude our KXLG recordings and radio because of the cost and the amount of time that it takes staff to put that online, or on the radio. So worship with us. Be faithful. We know that God has this. The very last thing that Jesus said before he ascended back into heaven is, he said, I am with you always to the end of the age. I'm with you always. And that's the promise that we have. May God continue to be with you. May God continue to bless our ministry as we move forward.